focus in on. That's the first game of the night. 6Targets take on Team Bliss. This one is going to be, I don't want to say a scary prospect, Dev, but 6Targets have a mountain to climb.
Yeah, they do. And 6Targets have had some good results and some quite poor results, but starting to talk about Team Bliss, like these guys have been consistent. Now, there has been a bit of a phrase going around globally at the moment about the post-SI slump. All the teams that have gone to Six Invitational have had good and bad moments globally across every region. And Bliss have kind of been in a bit of an exception to that. I know they themselves have still been extremely modest about their abilities, but we only ever really saw that come to fruition in the game yesterday against Odium. Aside from that, it's been like 7-0, 7-1, 7-2, and 7-4. Like their closest game before yesterday was a 7-4 against Antic, which to be frank is not a particularly close game. Yesterday though, especially after the Odium match, these guys came out on Twitter. They said those guys pushed us really hard. And we spoke to Oda in the interview. That's a massive learning experience for them. You need to be pushed. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to really flex your muscles and actually learn to overcome. So I think for them, playing Border, a map that they historically love but no one usually plays them on, was a great experience for them. I personally expected a club or a chalet. It shows that these guys are keeping their map pool fresh, they're keeping it up to date, and they're not letting old maps that they used to be good at and are no longer playing become complacent.
No, adversity really does start to shape and mold teams, and you know I think that's where Team Bliss have come from, man. They came from adversity, right? They came from the storyline of they cannot win a best of 3, right? That was way back in 2020, 2021. They've evolved away from that so far to the point where no team really is able to even get within touching distance. So it's always nice to have that reality check.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you're top 8 in the world, you're coming back into your OCE League, it's a big adjustment.
Yeah.
For Team Bliss, coming back, it's a very different brand of Rainbow Six that OCE will play. You know, it's no longer about this like specific tech that you're counter-stratting teams for because you can predict the bracket of the BO3s and how it's going to go, who you're playing against. It's, you know, looking at the game again in a more macro sense, being good at the fundamentals once again, waiting for these OCE teams to characteristically play quite slow and actually, you know, lean into that, especially in that macro decision making. And yeah, to me, that's a massive adjustment for a team that's just come back internationally. I think it showed a lot in the game yesterday against Odium.
Well, the team they're going toe-to-toe with is, look, they're notorious. That's what I'll say. They're not Conor McGregor. I'm just going to lay that out there right now. They might talk like him, but will they pack a punch? I don't know, Dev. This is I would say for 6Targets, this is obviously a game that they could have a decent run at, but what are the realistic chances?
It's very hard to say because I would actually pin 6Targets down as the most inconsistent team in this league. I would even say that over Circular Spheres because I think with CS you can clearly look at them and say it was just the first 2 play days were a miss. Yep. Whereas for these guys, their first play day they played Odium and lost 7-4. That was a surprise at the time because we had high expectations for these guys and we didn't appreciate how good Odium were. Their second play day they lost to Panic. The guys that were meant to be like out of nowhere, and that was Panic's first big proving ground, big win, but that was still a 7-8. And 6Targets since then, they've beaten Antic, who were promised to be the second best team in the league, and they also had a really convincing win over Kelton's Knights, but they also had another blemish in between those 2 matches, which was getting 7-0'd by Circular Spheres. So it really depends on which 6Targets rocks up on the day, because on their day, they actually do look like one of the best teams in the league, and Oda even said in the interview yesterday that 6Targets is some of the best practice that you can get in this region, and I hope that they can convert that when game day comes around.
Look, they are a team that realistically, again, when they're on, right? And I think it's really it's important to actually bring up Kaken's comments as well from last night, which is they really weren't settled in that first play day. You know, we'd had Specker completely missing for 2 months because he decided to go snowboarding at the start of the year. How dare you? Us. But, you know, it really has started to mold together a little bit better. Good enough for Bliss? Am I stretching here?
No, I don't think so. I think for 6T, like they look like they're taking the game really seriously, which is like a very positive sign. They're a team that look like they want to learn new things, which is also like pretty different in my opinion to a lot of the rest of the teams there. But I think the biggest thing that Kaken pointed out that they were struggling with was the adjustment away from Zethi back to Specker, right? Yeah. You can see it in their last couple games. 6T are really lacking that strong front line that I think a lot of the OCE teams have got right now, and not having like a solid entry that's a sharp shot, is reliable, that type of thing, it can be really hard to revolve strats around not having having a player like that, I think. And Specker coming back into it, like, you know, that guy's all right at the game, yeah? But is he the most solid Ashe main in the world? Probably not, right? And that means that you've got to have players like Specker on Kali, who's like walking and killing people with the secondary and stuff, you know? It just feels like a lot of that early game and that front line they're missing now, and it's not super solid. And I think the adjustment back for them has been really hard because, yeah, ultimately a lot of these guys are like supportive mid-round players.
Well, one thing that we always talk about are the leaders of each team, and, well, Fisho has made his name well and truly known, whereas Tex has been missing for a year. But, Dev, even then, he's walked back into this like nothing's ever been missing.
Yeah, it's funny, just to piggyback off the whole frontline point, Tex has actually been a great frontline player, but he's also the team captain and IGL of this team, and that is quite a hard dynamic. Like we've seen throughout periods of Rainbow Six history, we've seen entries be IGLs, but it's by far and away the minority of leadership styles in this game, and Fisho Guy is a perfect example of a backline support player who plays that leadership role well. Tex, on the other hand, as we've said, he's a frontline player. He's a very good frontline player. You can see his KD is actually really insane, especially considering he's also taking up that leadership role. Lower cost says that a lot of these rounds, though, he might get picked early, and he's actually not being able to have as much impact on the fragging capability. But another fun fact about these two is way back in 2019, they were teammates in the Australian Pro League in a good old team called Team Sinister at the time. And yeah, it's just amazing to think that going to head-to-head in the server today after Bliss have gone and been top 8 at 6 Invitational, and Tex has gone over to Fnatic and come back home again.
Yep.
It's just amazing the amount of history buried beneath everything that we're seeing today.
The last time these two teams would have versed each other in an official sense, like outside of any you know midway tournaments or anything, that would have to be 3 or 4 years ago now.
Well, yeah, even the old order roster, which is kind of what 6Targets is trying to emulate, like Tex was never a part of that.
No.
So, you know, I think Tex, since he graduated and left for Fnatic, he probably hasn't played Fisho in an official yet.
Woo. I love that. I love that. Old guns coming back to the server. And I mean, that's really the story for 6Targets, that literally a bunch of old heads returning back to the game in a state where OCE sorely needs leaders. And I can't understate that enough. The region right now is undergoing, over the last year, has undergone quite a transformation from the old guard that we had back in APAC South to now
Young Gunners.
The young gunners, the up-and-comers.
The Karmas.
The Karmas of the group. And it really has left a void that many have lacked to pick up. So I'm very excited to see these players, these teams come back to the region. And I think it goes to speak volumes when you speak to someone like Oda, who has been pracking against the best teams for the last 4 or 5 years, and he comes in and says 6Targets are one of the best teams, one of only 2 good teams to prack right now. That goes to show that their mentality's in the right place. So hopefully, as you said earlier, Dev, hopefully that does start to translate into the server, because I truly do believe if 6Targets keep at it, it will change the conversation. But speaking about changing the conversation, we do have map vetoes to get to. Now, have either of you, I'm actually just going to throw this out, have either of you gone Theorycraft for me?
Go on.
No,
Do you want to go? My theory craft on these guys is that I think 6Targets are one of the more unconventional teams when it comes to maps. So as it looks like, I think it's probably going to be Club again. But like the way that Bliss have fanned this out, in my opinion, is pretty interesting, I think. Like, to me, these guys are frequent scrim partners, right? Yeah, they play each other all the time. And so for 6T, it's going to be really hard for them to bring out something out of pocket through this veto, and something that they're really strong at, and something that's unique to their strengths, right? So I think, I think unfortunately for these guys losing out in the veto, probably, I would say, probably not able to bring out something that they're uniquely good on.
That's
I don't know what you think, Dev, here, but I would say 6T have probably got the more interesting of the map pools amongst the 8 teams we've got.
Yeah, I just think Bliss have such a strong map pool, which means it's frustrating to play against them. For example, 6T banned Border, and that's historically a good map for Bliss, but they were recently untested on, and I thought it was great from Odium to go to it yesterday. And maybe if 6T were a little bit more confident on Border, they would have considered going there, but clearly, it's not a map that they're too interested in playing, especially after they got 7-0'd on it by Circular Spheres. So it's an interesting kind of flip for them, because they obviously also beat Antic on that map quite convincingly. Just Bliss have just such a strong map pool in the end. You don't want to play them on Bank, you don't want to play them on Border, you don't want to play them on Chalet, which is another map that 6T have played a bunch of. It's got to be Clubhouse, that's the obvious overlap for these two teams. Yeah. And 6Targets recently had a very good win, 7-3 over Kelton's Knights on this map, but also at the start of the season lost to Odium. So Yeah, it's just a matter of which 6Targets rocks up on the day. They can be good at this map. Can they be good enough to beat Bliss? Remains to be seen.
Now, this is one of the most defender-sided maps we've got at the moment. So if 6Targets do indeed start on defense, we at least get to see 6 rounds.
I'm pretty sure we will not see. 'Cause typically, it's the icon on the map is for the other team. At least that's what I have noticed with the graphics so far.
Well, I mean, if Team Bliss are last ban, that means
I just got told
side, which means
I think 6Targets have started on defense.
yes, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. We love that for them.
Yes, that is absolutely incredible because now it makes this game a little bit more interesting. It's got some more legs in it.
Ayo.
No?
Well,
I don't like it when you give me
Ayo.
You know, Bliss, they're kind of a good team, right? Do you want to guess? Yeah, Team Bliss are pretty good. Do you want to guess their attack win percentage on Clubhouse in the last year?
I'm going to say something absurd like 70 or 80%.
Yeah, you ruined my point because you went too far, but 59%. That is that's like that you're expecting a 4-2 half on your attack. That is pretty gnarly, and no team in their right mind would be expecting more than 3 rounds of attack on Clubhouse unless if it's a very one-sided game, which I don't think this will be. But it's just a testament to how good Bliss are on their attack, how good they are on this map. And yeah, this is going to be an insanely hard game. In fact, in the last year, Bliss have won this 11 times and only lost it 4 times. So this is not just like a map that they've recently added to their pool. They love this map. They're really good on it. And they've got great form. They 7-1 Keltons the other day. So I don't think this is going to be easy in any way, shape or form for 6Targets, but I expect a good show regardless.
Now, this is actually an incredibly important game for both of these teams because Team Bliss need to hypothetically win this game to absolutely lock in top 2. But even more than that, 6Targets really need this win to ensure that they are away from the bottom of the herd because right now you've got 4 teams fighting for that 5th, 6th spot. It's going to get really, really hectic. So 6Targets, this is I want to say a near impossible task, but they need to take points away from this game, and they're going up against the giants of O's. But it is time for us to go to a break. When we come back, we kickstart Playday 6.
Game is working. We're all good to get into our first match. Team Bliss, 6 targets. Apologies for the delay, but underway we go. And heading into Clubhouse Scuzz for match 1 of the night here for Playday 6 of the Oceania League. For 6 targets, it's a daunting task whenever you go up against the local heavyweights. But yesterday we saw the local heavyweights, they can bleed a little bit.
That was Odium, second place at the time. 6 targets, probably not quite at that particular level in this matchup, but they are starting defense. So an opportunity to mount rounds, and rounds actually could be quite important in the context of this match for a league which is shaping up to be extremely, extremely close. There's likely to be a lot of tiebreakers throughout the standings. 6 targets at the moment have a relatively favorable round diff at -3, but they probably don't want that to blow out too much more in this matchup. So defense gives them an opportunity to diminish the chances of that in this game. But of course, that won't be at the forefront of their minds. They'll be going in with the expectation or the hope that they can get a win across the line. As mentioned on the desk, though, by James, Team Bliss have quite a strong attacking win rate, almost at 60% on this map. So a 4-2 for Bliss is their benchmark. Fans have played out as we joined midway through. It is the Ying and the Mav on the attacking side, so that will limit some of the hard breach potential, especially top floor. Tubarao also banned out, interestingly enough, which will alleviate pressure on the remaining hard breach. Kaid also out, which will make downstairs a little bit tricky to bunker down on, and so teams will likely employ one.
Yeah, I saw a little comment there as well. I believe it was Specker, could be wrong, but he is always the loudest inside of the server when 6 targets are amongst the teams. The fact that the Solus was left up, which is something that Team Bliss typically ban. So this time around, they've decided to go for the Tubarao instead, which Tex will immediately get onto that Solus.
I would love to know the last time Bliss did not ban Solus in an official, because they were doing it at SI as well, right?
Yep.
It could be a really, really long time. Wow, that's
why I brought it up. Hey, they don't pay me the big bucks for no reason.
No, that's a very phenomenal point. And Team Bliss yesterday on border, again, with the Solus ban, still at times had issues with their drone economy. So it's going to be super intriguing to see how that plays out in this match, because they're so reliant on info. And with these roams being employed, we'll see how valuable that is. 2 spotted behind bar. That's Oda. He's lurking currently over towards pool table.
Is it 2 spotted in bar? Now it is. Oh, that's an aggressive swing, though. Seriously, Oda had no idea that Tex was going to commit that much in towards games. That's an easy kill. Okay, good start. I mean, that's really the way you want to play, though. If you're 6 targets on the defense club, you want to be aggressive. You know that Bliss are going to get quick entry and map control as soon as they possibly can. They're not going to loiter outside. They're going to drone you out. They're going to clear out these positions, get themselves good, first floor control. And such is the case in terms of default siege. You get that kill, straight back to the basement. 5 on site, very difficult to clear. If anyone can do it, though, certainly Bliss, even as the 4 without Oda. You've only lost the Ash, not impossible. And no mirror on the board anyway. I think a lot of emphasis will certainly be on the likes of Brendo, who brings the best utility moving forward for the remainder of this round with that Kawan Hive launcher. Sage, his brother, has now also been eliminated. Sledge taken off the board. Great start for 6 targets. First the roam up above, then the util too with the Nitrocell kill. Just over 60 seconds remaining. Brendo making his way through Secret towards blue. Got a run across as well. So far, all the little mini obstacles going the way of 6 targets.
3v5 though, so don't put a line through Team Bliss just yet. They had multiple comebacks from similar positions last night against Odium on border. And they still have U2 to flush out the likes of blue. If Brendo can be put in a position here to maybe make a play, he will advance forward. If he unlocks this with the pinch from Wettables up the side, it could be interesting.
That's a great reposition from Nico.
Well, Nico gets the kill with an Nico angle, and it could be a flawless first round here from 6T.
Yeah, it should be. Wettables will get 1 or 2. That's just the nature of Wet. He's that good, but I mean, a really well worked round from 6 targets. Across the board, loved the mainstairs control initially at the start, in towards bar. They got themselves early position. Oda aggressive, thought he could swing from pool. No camera for Oda. Now, he's got to get that on quick sharp or it'll be a fine. Come on.
You reckon he's fixed his hair yet?
He definitely hasn't. We saw him less than 24 hours ago. Good round, though, for 6 targets. Now, this is the thing, though. We talk about Bliss and their attacking win rate, even on Clubhouse. But it is also still Clubhouse defense. 6 targets themselves, these guys, for those unfamiliar, I mean, you really shouldn't be too unfamiliar. Taxman from Fnatic and Specker and Bailey and Nico, the old Order roster from the days gone by, Kaken, one of the top players in this region. This is the kind of map that they've played over and over and over and over again. They know the defaults, they understand how to play Clubhouse, the strengths and the win conditions, and where they can find maybe avenues to get one up against Team Bliss. The big thing will be Cash and CCTV, and unironically, that's where we actually head to for the second round. Not opting to go to Gym Bedroom, instead going straight to the tertiary site. This is going to be, I think, the one of the more curious rounds here for 6Targets. How do they want to play this? Will it be Rafters stack? We saw yesterday, double stack Rafters got completely overwhelmed by a con push, so you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
And again, just quickly back to that ban discussion, I had a look through.
No Maverick, by the way, so...
Yeah, I had a look through the archives in terms of that Solace ban statistic, and the last time Bliss did not ban Solace, it was a 2-barrel ban on Bank against ex-Mammoth in the campaign grand final. Okay. In the semi-finals against CS, they also banned out the 2-barrel back-to-back. But again, throughout the entirety of 6 Invitational and the entirety of this stage for OCE, it's been Solace all the way for them. It's probably really going to be most impactful again on that basement site, especially if 6Targets employ roams.
Look how fast this is, though, with the live trade from Oda through Bar.
Yeah.
Now, he tried to self-drain himself last time and lost his life. This time gets a bit of a helping hand, makes it a bit quicker.
Oh, Bandit Trick has been countered there, so good work from the Zofia below. And Bailey late to pressure.
Yeah, but position not necessarily known. He could still be good for one later in this round. Great start, though, for Team Bliss. Mentioned the Bandit employed, no Maverick available, but other ways to deal with it. And certainly on Cash and CCTV, I mean, as good as Bandit can be, and as much as we do typically see the Mav trick, yeah, very easy to get that lounge control and deal from it from below. I'm a bit curious there for 6Targets if they actually had any kind of lounge pressure. You mentioned Bailey, a bit slow. He was actually quite deep. Can't imagine he was the only one. Okay, this is interesting. Counter the Claymore. Oh, just swing and kill. The timing on that one, I mean, really good thinking. Just unfortunately, the timing doesn't work for Bailey. 2 attacking start kill for Bliss. They're up 5 versus 3. They got the repel. There's a swing coming from Red. Nicely done from Specker. And I think at that point, had to go for broke. Risk versus reward factor. Either double down, triple down, or lose the round. 4 versus 3 now with over a minute remaining. And 6Targets look a little bit better now.
Yeah, Ash charge down below to clear util on the con wall. That's followed up with Salma charge from Fish. And a couple of plant and win condition opportunities now open up for Team Bliss. Kaken still has 3 gas babes available on the smoke, the first of which will now be deployed, and that can stall out this push for a little while longer. Oda's still a lurk threat, could go top red, could play breach. Well, he does find one top red. Specker exposes himself. Wettables in the meantime also finds Kaken, and now Nico left all alone in the 1 versus 4. Plenty of time for Bliss. It's a good swing from Wet.
Oda.
Much cleaner from Team Bliss.
Yeah, I mean, the Bandit trick doesn't work. You have to pretty much employ it, though, because the Mavericks banned out. If you're going to do that, though, you've got to have some lounge presence down below. I think Bailey with the lurk, just a little too late coming in through Secret. Needed to... I mean, if he's the one... I don't even know if he needs to be the one to really challenge that. But either way, 6Targets losing far too many members too easily. And Team Bliss will very much take the tertiary site of Cash and CCTV. That was the site I was a little bit worried about for 6Targets, losing it, yeah, quite convincingly. Now over to Gym Bedroom. Not quite into the must-win territory, but certainly a big win condition if you're going to do well defensively on Clubhouse. Must-win Gym Bedroom, must-win Basement. Those are the 2 primary sites that we typically see. Little extension over towards Cash and probably a top red rotate. Mirror window being employed as well. Bathroom in towards Jacuzzi Wall. So pretty standard setup right now from 6Targets defensively. Once again employing the Solas, which is available.
Yeah, we have a little bit more data on Clubhouse now to go off as well. Total of 6 plays, 19 rounds over on Cash CCTV, and it continues to lag behind the other objectives by quite some margin. Both Basement and Master Gym, where we're at the moment, share a 67% win rate to defense, whereas Cash CCTV on 42. So if 6Targets are just able to win those 2 primary sites, that will still put them ahead of Bliss in the long run based on the own benchmark they set for themselves, which was that 59% number touched on by Dev. And has set the expectation that for Bliss, if they want to play at the standard they've set, it should be a 4-2 in favor of attack. So we'll see how they go about unlocking this particular objective. Things kicking off over towards CCTV. Monty in play, impact trick on the wall. doesn't quite land though, and Kaken now under quite a bit of pressure already.
Yeah, and also those impacts going to be far more useful up against the Monty later in the round. Instead, tried to trick the wall, which is really just to delay the inevitable anyway. So I think wasted utility for what could have been used against Fisher later in the round, either from down below or even more so directly at the Montang. That's a peek from Cake and inside of Con, getting aggressive here for 6Targets. Monty coming through the doorway to his left-hand side. Pistol left for Fisher. And then back in. A little bit of intel towards logistics. But so far, early cash sweep across for Bliss that has been successful.
Well, that's bold.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Bailey coming in quite late here with this mirror window, and it does get shot down, rightfully so. He can, well, actually, he gets shot off of it. Now he can put it back if he wants. But yeah, very risky. And Fisher guy even just getting a peek into sight. Bailey will get punished for this. Very confusing.
Yeah, that's not the play. They're trying to respond to this pressure from Bliss. They just don't have the systems to do it. Nitro down below will be a decent bait once they
What are you
go
saving
for
that, though, for? I mean, you could have easily just placed that window in the earlier portion of the round.
Yeah.
Where's another? The only time you would bank it is if you've got a thought as to where are they going to push from, and then we want to move it across instead of placing it early. But I can't imagine where else you would have maybe put it into. Maybe stash in towards bedroom, but there's one was placed bathroom. Either way, under a minute remaining. And that really has put a hole in the defense for 6Targets. Now another one falls. That's taken on the Azami, who was under quite a lot of threat initially over towards that con side push, courtesy of Bliss, who have just completely taken control. Balcony and con. But Nico steps up with a nice double kill. Was eventually traded by Sage, numbers still with Bliss. And even that push from Specker through Stash, unsuccessful. Text down below is a bit of a win condition on the Solus. Does get the kill on to Sage. Now mind you, on the Solus, can spot that diffuser once it starts getting planted. He does use one of his impacts. But this though, Fisher takes the time, knowing his bot main, to actually stick it just outside of Stash. Information, sound cue off the barbed wire. And now the Montang to deal with, pushing towards Jacuzzi wall. I'm not sure what Brendo's doing momentarily. Just ran towards him. I think they wanted to get the pinch with the Montang pushing him from behind. And they do so successfully. Bliss will get their second round.
Yeah, unfortunate there for 6Targets. Team Bliss doing a really good job to get very swift control into that CCTV position. The Monty then forcing the likes of Kaken back. Bailey rotated, tried to play reactively with that mirror window, but he had to have somebody in support. Otherwise, it's a very notable sound cue and visual cue to give away to Team Bliss. Simple as just spraying through the soft wall at knee height. That gave them the opening pick pretty much for free. They did an okay job towards the very late round to actually win a couple of picks, go their way. Maybe if they didn't lose that first initial pick for free, then this Solus could have been more impactful down below, or at least would have forced that plant down in the Brick's position. Somebody else could have been there to deny, or at least take down Brendo. But unfortunate for Tex, left in that 1 versus 2. Very difficult trade to make happen. And again, well played by Fish, played his role excellently in that round. Team Bliss following, again, that expectation of a 60% win rate here. Attack defense, though, for 6Targets was strong on basement last time with that Solus.
I mean, look, this is also really showing why Bliss probably ban out the Solus, or at least aren't used to dealing with the Solus. But you're losing 4 drones in the prep phase. I mean, that's, yeah, quite poor for a team of their caliber. I mean, to be fair, Tech's hunting quite vigorously. But I guess it's a part and parcel as to maybe not quite being as used to it. You ban it out for a reason. You know, half your drone economy is just essentially gone before you even get to start the round. Basement side as well, you want to find as much information, but then more importantly, you want to clear above, knowing full well the last time out here on Church Arsenal, 6Targets had good presence towards bar, around main stairs. You need to make sure they're not lurking. How aggressive is that Solus going to be as well for Tex? Is it just a matter of playing the lurk role or get the drones and fall back? Right now, kind of mid main stairs with Nico as well. Might just fall back.
Gotta reload. Ready to breach. Electrosensor on. Mine activated. Into the light.
Yeah, interesting from 6Targets, not over-committing to the roam. And interestingly, not even finding more drones during the action phase. It was all during prep phase. But maybe just sensing that they, again, not wanting to give away that entry for free, which is understandable. Does give relatively free control for Bliss. They'll be able to set up the remaining 6 drones in positions to watch the flank and then garner information forward facing. Blue hatch open. Bailey will likely respond with that mirror window in pocket and place that down facing into Gen. But there's a lot of flush out util here from Bliss, namely that Capitao and Grim combo, which will make that gen hold very, very tricky in the late round.
2 Nitrocells available for 6 targets as the kitchen hatch is going to get opened up successfully. I saw Dirk get Rio'd off, or at least there was a bit of pressure there from 6 targets. Not sure if Bliss will actually go for a dirt push or not. Oh. Pressure through kitchen floorboards. Oh, that's a freebie. Yeah, Sage will always punish that. As soon as he saw that first bit of pressure through the doorway position, he knows they're looking at the floorboard, they're down below directly. He's ready for it, gun in hand, looks down, easy kill. Tex as well in the Solus. He's done a good job, at least in getting rid of drones. Oda towards bot main. And yeah, Dirt was Rio'd off. Oda's getting very aggressive here. Wettable shot through the stock hatch. They want to go for a bit of a blue push here off the back of the Grim. Hive launcher utilized. Only 30 seconds left in this round. To be fair, very winnable here for 6 targets, even despite being a player down. Brenno's taking some damage. Trying to play off all of these Bs. Oh, lovely swing from Wettable. It's off the back of that red ping information. There's another one to follow as well. In through Church, though. Nice kill from Kaken. Brendo able to get the kill onto Bailey, while Fisho plants. Maybe a moment here for 6T. Kaken does take that moment, and Fisho will fall down to just Sage and Oda. But also, only one remaining for 6 targets. It's Kaken through Moto, one towards bot main. He throws out the impact. That goes flying past the shoulder of Oda, who's tucked in close left. Another impact used, but watching from above is Sage, and Bliss will find their 3rd attacking round.
Yeah, not many mistakes being made there from Team Bliss in that particular round. Really good vert play from Sage to pluck the early
Has he got an
kick.
actual issue?
Tex trying his hardest to get a kill in towards that kitchen doorway position. Didn't land the shot, then punished. And then Sage in late round cleaning that up. Elsewhere, the blue play from Bliss was also quite clean. They laid the util nicely with the Grim Bees. There's that Sage pick early on. And then back to that blue hole. The Bees from Brendo were on point. The flashes from Wet here.
Look at this.
Follow-up drop.
It's on a 360 drop down.
Yeah.
Just casually in Pro League. And this is really nice hold as well. Yeah, I had the vert. And in that moment as well, Oda just very patient, held his position, trusted in his teammate to be watching from above, knowing full well that, you know, he was pretty safe. It's not like those impacts can curve around and get tucked into the left side, so he knew he was quite safe. 3-1. 2 rounds still to go in this half. Obviously, we saw James mention on the desk that, you know, close to 60%, what was it, 59% attacker win rate on this map for Team Bliss. So, showing that right now. And you would imagine, and very likely think that Team Bliss will continue this into the second half on their own defense, where they will be very difficult to break down. 6 targets must win these next 2 rounds, really. Back over to Cash and CCTV. Tertiary site. Not a massive change up from 6T. Kaken onto the smoke, though.
Oh,
Little change up, and they've given up on the Bandit.
Yeah, they've given up on the Bandit, so opening up these walls will be very straightforward, even if they are muted off. Wettables has impact EMPs. If you want to place the exothermic charge in the middle of the wall, or place it high, either or, doesn't really matter. And early pressure now already in towards Garage.
He should be dead. He's down. Should be known as well, and was eventually finished off. So double stack rafters is very interesting, knowing that that Kennel's wall is going to get opened up very early on. Plugs the hole, Nico to make the cross, but no, there's another hole there still watching. You can plug one hole, but not both. I mean, the round is essentially over from here, unless Tex, Bailey, and Kaken can do something quite miraculous, because Bliss have already got site control. They've cleared out rafters and garage. They've already opened up main breach. Everything pointing to a Bliss round win. Barring something crazy. Tex is maybe trying to see if he can find that on the other side of the map. With a peek over towards the backside of garage. This is interesting from down below in Bar. Tex trying to maybe create a nice little vertical line up above. Just under 90 seconds remaining. Still a couple of gas babes available for Kaken. All 3 still in the back pocket. Nitrocell and Impact. So utility there for 6 targets. Just need to get a bit fortunate here. Just feel like Tex is forcing it. He gives away his position.
He's droning. He needs to scan. He's droning outside. He could have jumped out, but he didn't rescan.
He doesn't know. I mean, we know. He doesn't. Chance, and he hits it. Nice kill on Fisho. Kaken also doubles down with the SMG-11. He knows there is one out here. Tex At this point, you don't need a peek. You've gotten the kills back, 3 versus 3. Round looks a little bit better now for 6Targets. Now Tex will feel like the time could be to go. Drone spotted down below. Kit has also been spotted over towards Rafters. Nice little back hold towards Couch, top red and con for 6Targets.
Nitro.
And Tex can go for the outside swing through the CC window. Only a tag, a small one onto Edibles. Now detected outside. Impact thrown, final one. Still the Nitrocell. Available for Bailey. Could be a difference maker here. Bliss getting one onto the rappel, outside Kennels. It's a double push from Rafters. One makes that cross. That's Edibles with the kit. Tex, not much he can do. Nitrocell still available. Bailey can get into a position, but it doesn't come through. And if it does, it'll be too late. Now thrown. Hits nothing. Nice kill though from Tex. Another headshot in this round. Goes for the close swing. Could be good. They're both low. Easy one onto Oda. Brendo now in a 1 versus 3 on the rappel. Very tricky position even with the plant down. And so low on health. Tex is on the kit. Sticking it. And being helped out by Bailey and co. Big round win for 6Targets.
Wow. Wow, very cheeky from Tex in that round. The Solos continues to provide value for 6Targets. He plays outside knowing the full rotation came through. 2 garage, 1 main breach. He could play outside safe, apply that pressure. I will say the Nitro not coming out early there, despite Tex seemingly calling that the plant was coming through, was perhaps a bit of a mistake there from 6Targets, but they collected it nicely in the post. Clean shot from Tex. Oda very low on HP, so it was as easy as Tex just shoulder peeking that. Brendo stranded on the rappel. Very difficult position to salvage for him. So some good work there from 6Targets on the least defender-sided objective here on Clubhouse. Now they get to go back to the equal first of gym and bedroom. Maybe an opportunity to equalize this half and just make things a little bit more intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, I did say they probably need to win the last 2 just for the statistical nature of Clubhouse. Also does kind of feel like though Bliss were on that verge of a 4-2 half like we've kind of anticipated. Gym bedroom though, not easy to take. 6Targets have shown good resilience. Well, Nitrocell, a couple of impacts, bring a deployable shield as well. Frost match placed in towards Jim. I think one thing that 6Targets have actually been good with so far in this match is, I mean, they don't look scared. I mean, they shouldn't. These guys are very seriously experienced and seasoned players. As much as they would respect Bliss, they certainly don't, I don't think, fear them. They look pretty confident. We saw Tex in the plays that he was trying to make over on that con side. That was a big change in the round for 6Targets. 6 and 4. Top fragging at the moment for 6T. Kennel side push at the moment from Bliss. Looking to open up con single wall.
Okay. Tex lurking a long way away off site inside of Gen. So I'm sure the observers will keep a keen eye on that later. Oda pushes forward. He might find himself in a bit of a pickle here. I don't think Oda has really any inkling, and there's no reason to think there's anyone below. This should be a free kill for Tex, surely. Oh, ooh, okay, well, the crosshair was not pre-aimed in the correct position, but nonetheless, a good correction. A free kill for Tex. And with that Ash down, it does fortify these mirror positions quite significantly for the defense.
Yeah, and 90 seconds too, not a lot of time. Bliss are going to have to pick up the pace. We said that with Fisher, goes for the run-in melee. Does break that window, so kind of does the job. And has done so pretty cleanly. Rotero thrown in towards Jim. This is the final one too from Brendo. Just wants to maybe try and take out one of those backkeeper barriers in the middle of bedroom. Sage maybe will be looking for a logistics drop, and this, I'm going to be honest, doesn't really look like clinical Bliss right now. Little all over the place. Is it going to be systematic? I mean, Sage has got information. He's going to play off of this. If he gets this kill, he can do a lot of damage. Oh, he went for the reposition outside. This is an easy kill. What is he shooting at?
He just panicked, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I'm so confused. It's like he saw something that he... yeah, we don't see that from Sage all that often. Shooting at ghosts. Gave away his position. Bailey does go down eventually. Sage does get that kill, but Wedible's losing his life, and there's the trade from Kaken. Knowing that pressure was going to come through logistics, that's a horrible round from Bliss.
Yeah.
Really well done from 6Targets, though, and they get their third.
Yeah, good little rep play at the beginning there from Tex to get that opening pick. As mentioned, fortified some other positions with the Ash util missing. An opportunity, though, to isolate that pick Logi. Team Bliss panicking, seemingly, in that particular position, which is very strange. I would have thought they'd take a moment, breathe, talk about how they wanted to clear that out, then bring it back to the 4v4 would have made things a lot more achievable. Instead, I think try to combine the overload position over towards Jacuzzi, but the Fenrir made that tough. And overall, it just really quite fell apart there for Team Bliss. So that's actually quite a significant win for 6Targets. The team that we had very little expectation on heading into this game to be competitive have drawn out the half, and that is below the standard that Team Bliss have set themselves.
Yeah, I think the expectation really was a 4-2 half to Bliss, so they've beaten that, have 6T. So to their credit, looking good. But, I mean, the nature is, though, that Bliss now are going on to the defense. That's going to be a very different and difficult proposition for 6Targets. Now, if they can start well early on to begin this second half, then our mood might change more so to what we had in terms of our mood yesterday. Potential upset on the cards. But right now it's 3-3, Bliss going on to Fender-sided club. Yeah, it's difficult to get too overly invested into a 6T upset win just yet, just now.
They could be 6-3 up and I'd still be concerned that they can't win it. until I see the 7 rounds in the 6T column, it's very tough because we know Team Bliss just...
That's more to do with Bliss than
exactly.
6T.
Oh, 100%. They just always find that extra gear in every single game.
Yeah. And look, they've earned that respect. This is the thing, right? They've certainly earned it. Logic Bomb used very early. I think earlier the pressure, maybe the better for 6Targets. I mean, you don't want to go probably too gung-ho and go super rapid. Bliss will probably punish that, but... I mean, they get a really good lineup in terms of clearing out any kind of roamers. Tex, well, too busy looking at feet, and Wedables will pop over and shoot him in the head.
Oh, no trade.
Really nicely done from Wedables. And that's the Jackal dealt with. Tell you what, if Tex had just been a couple of seconds a bit sooner, he might have been able to get that ping information off the scanner. Instead, no. Lovely swing from Wet. Nico outside on the balcony. Does need to be careful here. Oh, he does drop nicely. One Logic Bomb still available.
I mean, Spec is in a good position to catch them if they go bot red here. This might work out for 6Targets, depending on how Team Bliss select to rotate back towards objectives. There's 3 offside at the moment.
I don't know who's going to be catching here. Oh, not at this point.
Oh, that was bad timing.
Yeah.
Who's watching it? No one's watching it now.
Well, Bailey's just made his way in with the kit. A couple of players here. Oh, that's a little bit strange for Wedables. Walks straight into the crossfire. Sage finds a double kill. But also 2 for 6Targets. The round is on. The round is certainly on. Bliss have lost a couple of bodies up above. And with this now a 2 versus 2, down to Oda and Brendo. We saw these two specifically yesterday on border clutch up a couple of times for Bliss. They're going to have to do so again.
Oh, good flash.
The cross is perfect with that flash. And the kit has been retrieved. Oda, though, okay. Takes down Specker and puts it all on Kaken's shoulders. And certainly with that Nitrocell, Oda will finish it off. Okay. Just for a split moment, a little bit of worry creeping into the camp of Bliss, but no. Donated bot Oda that one. That's on me. I'm imagining Specker just solo pushed and died. Needed to just wait for Nico, play off of each other, play together as a duo. He goes a little early. Oda gets a free kill, 2v1. They know where Nico's rotating from because he got kit on the lounge side. Timeout from Targets. 4-3 lead for Bliss, and they do subvert what would have been a very worrying start to the half. Had they lost that round, an early attacking round for 6Targets would have put them in a really good position to just nudge them along to that upset tier. But for now, Bliss looking in control again.
I mean, outside of the Jackal of Tex getting caught off early, the attack was relatively clean. The way in which they caught Team Bliss on the rotation was quite well done this point of the round here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wedables get super aggressive there. These are kind of plays that Bliss don't really need to make. I think they got really overly aggressive up above, paid the price for it. I mean, that's credit, though, to 6Targets because I think they were forcing that fight. They wanted to force those fights, and they knew that Bliss would be aggressive, hence bringing the Jackal. It was a really well-worked round for both teams. And as soon as Bliss kind of realized, okay, it hasn't quite gone well up above, we'll go back, play sight. Yeah, I mean, Oda, I'm imagining, just beat Specker in a 1v1 as he kind of pushes towards sight. And over to Cash and CCTV, mirror what we saw from 6Targets in the first half. So instead of going to Jim's bedroom first, they go to the tertiary. We'll see what Team Bliss are going to cook up here. And the Montank might be employed here from Tex rather than the Kali. I think the Kali might come out for Gym Bedroom.
Located by attackers.
Warning,
Seconds left before
grinder.
Are you a grinder?
5 seconds remaining.
I've been grinding lately.
Attacker's
Nice.
objective is to defuse a bomb.
I was going to mention as well.
I think you've been grinding as well with Silex.
I have been grinding with Silex, yeah. Mainly standard though. I'm tired when I get home. I was going to briefly mention as well, shout out to Sprabuni, who has done the calcs in terms of qualification for top 6. And the chance of these teams making it to playoffs. For 6Targets, even if they lose this in regulation, they sit on 67%. Man LFO though, next week, I wouldn't pencil that in as a necessary win for them. That should still be a challenging game. So something to keep in mind. Team Bliss, to reiterate, are already qualified top 6. And pretty much guaranteed for top 2, but...
Oh, Tex gets a kill there with the frag. It's not often that we see frag grenade kills in this day and age of Rainbow Six Siege.
No, good lineup. Maybe facilitated a bit by the previous.
Well, yeah, I mean, the fact that it's the Bandit as well, I imagine it's just simply, was it simply just a nade to try and clear out the batteries, but also gets a kill? 2-for-1 special.
Bit of a freebie, really.
Yeah, sometimes
we see super complex layering of util there, whether it be below Zofia or Capital through the window. Simple as a nade that time, though. So not only is it the wall opened up, but that man count advantage now on the weakest defensive site here in OCE. So this is a very important round for 6T to convert.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke to Kaken yesterday, and he said that his team play like a coin. They flip the coin. Some days they're good, some days they're bad. Right now, I think they've flipped heads, and the heads is good. They're playing some pretty good Siege, taking it right up against Team Bliss. Certainly got themselves into this 8th round to maybe make it 4-4. Spectre with a push through from bedroom side. Can eventually look to open up this column wall with the exothermic charge. So double stack over towards rafters, or there might have been one below. Didn't quite get to see the outline properly, but I think it's... No, it is one below. One garage, one rafters. And it's actually Sage and the Azami that's moving away towards lounge. So aggressive on the garage side. Brendo finds a kill onto Cake, and that's going to be the ace taken out.
And main breach pressure alleviated. So 6Targets will likely now need to rotate someone back towards main breach, and that's not going to be great for time, considering there's only 50 seconds left.
Yeah, not a lot of time to get that. I mean, you don't have to if you can find avenues elsewhere, but it'll be certainly required later in the round. Gasbabe already thrown out by Brendo. Essentially a pre-placement, hasn't been used just yet. Adrenal Search used by Tex, has one more available.
They don't have a lot of displacement utility, right? 2 flashes, no Grim, no Cap. This is tough.
And a nice shot from Brendo. Again with the SMG-11, finds the kill onto Specker. I think was just kind of hoping someone would walk in front of his crosshair and maybe find a kill with that, then push into cash. Now scrambling for 6Targets. Nico is going to be the one to make his way towards Repel, but considering they're down a player, he gets aggressive. Tex with the LMG. Oh, there was a potential on the cross. One spotted rafters. That's intel. Wettables from that position gets that kill. Eventually traded by Nico. Tex has all the way slipped in towards site. Kit needs to be picked up. Goomine stops him anyway. No time to pick up the kit. And Team Bliss will take the round. A couple of real pivotal kills there for Bliss in that round, making life difficult for 6Targets despite a decent start.
And a huge Goomine there as well. There's every world in which if that diffuser was picked up and planted right hard against the breach, it may not have been denied down below by Sage. Now, over the course of 7 seconds, he would have had a couple of chances. We saw him default, and maybe he would have followed up with that position. But they should have been able to then cover top red. So unfortunate that the Goomine stalled that out for 6Targets because they did an okay job in salvaging the round. Fortunately, they're losing Kaken very early on in the piece, forced that rotation. As I mentioned, they're not running the Grim, they're not running the Capital. There's nothing to displace defenders and get them moving. Nothing to give the attack more initiative or more opportunities to show initiative.
Bring it out, bring it out. Yeah, I want to see like Deimos, Kali.
I don't think we're going to see Kali on this map. I think that might be Border Chalet exclusive.
If anyone can bring it out, it is Tex, but very much agree.
Well, he's top fragging on the Ash. I'd keep him on that.
Saw him hover the Kali in that last round, but changed off it. And the Ram might be employed here by Nico. They do keep it pretty simple and pretty straightforward to 6Targets.
5 seconds left before insertion.
After losing the tertiary round, though, it does mean for Bliss, all you got to win is Gym Bedroom, then Church Arsenal, and then your day is done. 7-3 win. Another one banked in terms of a win. And with 3 points here, does that secure them? It doesn't secure them first, does it? I mean, there's still another play day. And this,
For Team Bliss.
yeah, I imagine it wouldn't secure them first.
Secures them top 2 as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, top 2. Which, for all intents and purposes, I mean, that is almost similar because you're on the other side of the bracket, 2 first and second anyway. So
6-1 half
kind of,
dozen.
yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
pick your poison. And Bliss very likely to finish first in this league. Formalities, I guess, next week on the final play day. Even maybe by the end of tonight, it could actually be crowned due to other games. So double repel pressure on the Kennel side of this main breach towards CCTV. Gym bedroom for this 9th round, so it'll be a sweep across from 6Targets. Tech's just kind of slipping into what's stock at the moment. Okay.
I think Team Bliss have... Oh no, they haven't peeled off. Oh
my god.
No way. That was a really good comms on top red, and Tex goes for the floor bang. A lot of damage, so at least some value.
Yeah, he sees the blood, knows that wet was low, and that he was there, and Kaken will follow up, and Wettables is going to be dead. Fenrir, unable to make any impact in through cash. Live drone up top red for 6Targets, and suddenly it's a gym bedroom site, certainly weakened now for Team Bliss on the defense. Cash and CCTV completely given up. Top red rotate now available for 6Targets. Brendo been good in this game, 8 and 6. Certainly not the kind of game that someone individually has popped off for Team Bliss. I think showcasing what they are capable of as a team in this game against 6Targets. Brendo, though, wanting to take this long-range duel. Go on, peek him, you won't.
Well, there's a minute in the round. We'll see if 6Targets eventually rotate for a bit of jacuzzi pressure. In fact, there's already breach open, so that's some good phantom pressure from that position. Brendo will likely be the next to play contact and or fish in Logi. 45 seconds on the clock. 5 drones remaining. Make that 4 for the attack.
I wonder if there's too much con pressure, though.
Well, they've got Kaken posted bulk. Nico can drop Logi.
Certainly no jacuzzi pressure. That's not going to happen.
I think it's lack of displace util again. I mean, they've got the flashes this time, so we'll see. But
oh, Texas close. There is still that Vulcan canister that can be blown up as well to delay the push from the con side. 20 seconds left. He's already just walked straight in. They're both hiding at this moment. Now, Tex should know they're close. Gets rid of that Kiva barrier. Going to go for the plant. Now, I was going to say very difficult to deny, but look at the position there from Oda. Oh, just his head just sticking out. It's an easy one. Suddenly the kit now in the middle of the bedroom. Specker pushing through the flames in towards Logistic. Close left. Does get that kill traded immediately. Fisho and Oda, last 2 up against Cake and the Solar. Now in a 1 versus 1. Needs to grab the kit. And the pistol, well, he's not swinging because he doesn't need to. But hey, A for effort there. And knowing full well he's just never going to be able to get that plant down. The Nitro Cell was thrown as well. No world in which Kaken was going to be able to win that. His best hope literally was for the mirror to swing from stash and be a little bit, you know, over-aggressive and make a mistake. Hence the pistol. But match point now for Team Bliss, 6-3 and 6Targets. Again, I mean, they've done well in these rounds, just not well enough.
Yeah, pretty bold decision to go for the plant in that position. I can understand the thinking behind it. However, if you don't have the exact lineup, it's pretty easy for Bathroom to swing there, and it's challenging to contest that as someone covering the plant. And if he had teetered the other way, then he would have been exposed likely to Brendo. So I think if 6Targets had their time again, perhaps they'd try and find a slightly alternate way to try and get that kit down, or go for kills, or maybe wait for something else to happen in the round. I like the initiative, and yeah, unfortunate that it doesn't work out in the end. Team Bliss continued this run here on defense. 6-3 scoreline, 3 match points. And down to basement, the expectation for them to close it out here.
Yeah, being the better team. Being the better team, Team Bliss, and it's always really one of their strengths is as a core 5. No one, usually you're as weak as your weakest link. They don't really have a weak link. That's the biggest strength of Team Bliss. Tex has been great. Kaken as well. I mean, to be honest, for 6Targets, they also haven't really had many players that have done poorly in this game, and that's just aggressive for Brendo at that point. You know, sensing this match point opportunity, you got 3 match point rounds. I'll get aggressive. I'll peek over towards Secret, in towards Garage. Tex just caught off guard, not maybe anticipating Bliss to be overly aggressive, and yeah, loses his life. And with that, job done for Bliss. Back down to site, 5 on site. Formalities really just being undertaken here in this match point round. Some would say the seeds of doubt certainly sowed into the minds of 6Targets.
Have not mine primed.
Some would say that.
Some.
Pretty sure I said that yesterday, and I stole that from somebody else. Well, it is the Farmers League, Jake, so an appropriate analogy. Very difficult round now, though, for 6Targets. With the Kaid band out, opening up hatches is very straightforward. No qualms about that. Kitchen hatch may be another story with the impacts from Oda. Boogie Auto Breacher, though, from the Ram, making the vert relatively easy to achieve. I don't know if Kitchen Hatch has been opened up yet. No, it's being opened up now. Secondaries from Specker. We'll see if Oda looks to impact. Does not. He's inside of Church. So they've got good vert. I think for 6Targets in this position, best play probably a hatch drop with the Grimbees, unless Specker wants to go for blue control. But again, with that Nitro up, 3 gas babes, it doesn't spell great things for the attack in this position. 60 seconds, a bit of time, they can gather info, and they have a lot of drones. Dirt lurk potential now as well with that wall opened, and Fisho.
Oh, Fisho.
That might attract some of his attention in util too.
Very aggressive here, because if he gets swung, oh, jeez, he just took a chunk out of Cake. And I was going to say, Fisho can delay so much, any kind of dirt push, because he is on that smoke 3 gas babes. Bailey does find a kill onto Oda. Imagine those kind of back of Arsenal there on the Azami. One Hive launcher really being expended now by Specker. Is this going to be a triple drop Kitchen Hatch? How often is this going to work? Well, Edibles with the kill onto Specker. There's the follow-up from Brendo, and the round falling apart now for 6Targets. Kaken with the kit. Bailey coming through bot main. If not mine, gives away his position. That is kit down as well. Kaken getting his life taken, and it is going to be a 7-3 victory for Team Bliss.
15 seconds to go.
So apparently a regulation win will secure first for Bliss. And so therefore, once again, they are the best in this region. It is undisputed. Team Bliss will take themselves top spot of the Oceania League once again. Going into the playoffs, they are very, very difficult to take down and hard to imagine which team will be capable of doing so. It's really just a matter of, well, when, not if, they go to Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, now it's just up to them to defend their crown.
I've gone early there.
In the playoff bracket, yeah, you have gone a little bit early, but it's so difficult to see anybody take them down. Best of threes as well. They're going to thrive in that environment. Think about all the experience that they've garnered at Copenhagen, Atlanta, Sao Paulo. I mean, it's very, very challenging to see them take it down. And another good win for them today. It wasn't the best of first halves, but more than made up for it.
Yeah, good enough. We'll go back to the Bliss fan club on the couch.
To be fair, we might be, okay? But also, at the same time, all of us can 100... I'll speak on behalf of all of us. We genuinely are very happy with the 6Targets performance. Mandy, it definitely felt like they went in with a very clear vision.
Yeah, I think so. It really looks like 6Targets have actually done the work in there to have some good ideas, counter-stratting ideas specifically against what Team Bliss are doing. We literally saw it right off the bat, round 1, Oda's getting shut down going through like strip side, right? And that's like, well, you know, they know what's going on. They know that Team Bliss are going to do that lurk every single round, and they're going to go and isolate that and do that. And it felt like on the defense as well, you know, Maverick Band coming through as well, the game plays out pretty different when you've got Thatcher in there. And I felt like the way that they were dealing with the trick game on the other side, like having good nade lineups, being able to play the bandit game, like sort of all right, you know, like it looked like they'd really lent in to that kind of play style, knowing that maybe Bliss probably struggle a little bit more without having all the tools on the board, right? So to me, it felt like 6T went into Clubhouse with a plan. They had some good ideas to counter-strat them, but I think Team Bliss probably just outclassed them, to be honest.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I'm curious about the Kaid ban. If there's any way I want to fault 6T's preparation, I'm not sure I agree with that, because in the end, it was actually Azami, which was such a pain for them on their attacks. Like, how many rounds there? Like, the end, obviously, is a great example. Poor guy's trying to peek through bot main down the hallway, and he's got, like, 3 keeper barriers. But even you go back to that gym round where we saw Tex go deep and almost go for that plant, like, he would have been good for 1 or maybe 2 had there been no keeper barriers around, but there was a keeper in both sides, essentially nullifying any window presence. It's a much more effective way of the old school, just slap a castle barricade on those windows. And yeah, I think that 6T really struggled at dealing with that. I would have liked to maybe see that ban come through, but live and learn, right? Like the problem is there's so many good tools on the defense. Bliss know how to use not just one of them well, but all of them. So whichever one you ban, they'll flip their strategy around that. And for 6Targets at the end of the day, sadly, if you only win 3 defense as a club against Bliss, you're going to have a hard time. I wish they could have gotten at least 1 attack, but at the end of the day, all they got was defense rounds.
And look, they kept them to a more moderate percentage, right? It's 3-3, right? It's the conversation's still there. They cut off, what, 9%, is it, from their average win? Is that what is it? 59%.
Mate, you're trying to ask me to do maths on broadcast and have my
No,
laptop with me.
I'm talking about Bliss going into it. What was their attacking percentage?
It was 59% going
so
in.
So that's a win. We'll say that's a win. That's
true. I guess better than a 4-2 split, which is what the stats would have suggested.
Technically, it's a win. But unfortunately, it's not a win for them, which means that the conversation now turns quite dire for 6Targets. They've only got one more game to secure playoffs, and even then, it very well could be shadowed depending on results from today. They're also going up against Man LFO in their final game, Mandy. Do you feel like 6Targets have done enough to warrant the playoffs?
To be honest, I don't think so. I think the shaky start is going to come to bite them back. Like, yeah, they looked like sort of all right against Bliss today, but I think, yeah, really Bliss just outclassed them. I think they're probably not far ahead enough in their development to actually be able to take the fight to some of those top 6 players. Top 6 teams.
Yep.
And I think, I think ultimately the bad start might potentially lock them out here for the top 6. But you never know. They're still antic down there. There's some circular spears down there. So, and they have to play each other next week.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is 6T, they go into next week and they look fresh. You never know.
They're still in it.
They're still in it.
They're still in it with a shot, and that's all that matters. Whereas Team Bliss have secured first spot. And you've heard of Man with a Van. How about Man with a mustache that's somewhat trimmed off on the sides? Wed, how you doing, mate? Look, a very solid performance, but all things considered, 6Targets still threw some things your way that had you guys sweating every now and then.
Yeah, look, you can't really, give them too much crap for that. People say, look, they got pumped, but nah, they're old players. They're going to know how to get the basics done in Clubhouse. So, we went into that knowing, it's an old map. You can't take old men to, the old maps. As you know, you can't take Celtics Knights to bank, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter how long they've been at the game. They don't forget their basics. So, going into that map, we knew these guys know what they're doing on this map. It's going to be hard, but we play our game and, we came up with the results. So.
Yeah, man, I just want to talk about practice. How are you guys finding practice at the moment and leading into playoffs? You're going to be playing BO3s, different situation. Are you treating that as more experience? And should you guys qualify for the major, how will you be treating practice in the lead up to that?
Well, how honest do you want my answer for APAC prac? How honest do you want my answer? Because, like Oda said yesterday, some of the OCE teams seem to not want to take practice too seriously. And it feels like, some players have a point to prove in scrims. They don't really care about improving. And then as for scrimming the Japanese and the Korean teams and the CES teams, it's hard because we have that ping bug. So, we take practice with how best we can get and just focus on what we need to focus on. And if people want to sit there and, troll or the ping gets in the way, then you just sort of just got to bite the bullet and just take it how it comes and just improve how, you want to improve or just take away what you can get from each type of scrim.
American scrims when, mate? Come on. What's the ping difference between scrimming NA and scrimming APAC? I'm just saying this because people back in the day used to do this. When Fnatic were in O's, when Atletico were around, you scrimmed NA teams. I know NA is pretty doggers as well, but actually surely it's a little bit better.
We never said that.
Look. It'd be cool, but it's not really worth it for either team. I don't really feel like NA teams would like to on ping for us to be 160p. What are you going to get out of that for both teams?
No farms for Americans.
Jesus Christ, this guy, he's trying to solve our problems. What is this?
Oh, God. All right, well, my question for you is, what's the prep like going into the best of 3? So, my understanding of the best of 1s is that there's essentially a duopoly on maps, right? You're going to be playing Clubhouse or Chalet, essentially, every week, almost, right? Whereas you go into the BO3s, and there's probably going to be a bit more variety there. How are you balancing out your prac for the week-to-week games compared to preparing for BO3s?
I think in during the normal stage, you can sort of iron out a smaller pool and go, all right, we're going to aim for these pools in BO1s, and then you can solidify your prac into them. But going into any type of BO3s, BO5s, you sort of got to make sure you're ironing out all your issues on as many maps as possible going in. So for these, even starting tomorrow, we'll be ironing out every other map we can. Making sure that we're ready on every map that we haven't shown, all that type of stuff. So we're ready to any team picks any map, we're ready to go. And then there's the maps we've already played, making sure we've got new stuff for it. Fish is always in the workshop cranking new strats. So we've always got new things to show people.
Look, don't worry about the rest of the team, but you personally, who are you looking forward to playing the most in best of 3s?
I don't know. To be honest with you. I'd like to see Odium up there again, just because, I don't know. At the moment, the way they play and the way they felt, they definitely seem like that second best team. But I don't know, watching a lot of teams at the moment, even us, like we're no like stranger to this. Like I feel like a lot of teams at the moment have got like inconsistency issues. Like even us, like we're messing up like little things as well. So it's like I thought this stage is gonna be like really close, but it's only close because teams are like one day they're 7-0, next day they're getting 7-1. It's like, you know, it's so just like it's so up and down for every team, and it's really confusing right now. So I don't know who the quote unquote second best team is, but I think right now I'd put my money in Odium.
Yeah. I mean, look, it is the OCE League. We've been calling it a Farmers League for nearly 2 years now, and that pretty much encapsulates it all. But look, mate, you've had an unbelievable stage so far in the best of ones. You're still putting up the performance on the back of, again, another great stage 2 in 2023. So, you know, kudos to you. But do you have anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out Bliss, shout out Logitech, shout out Game Kinchi, you know, all the goods, you know, the standard stuff. Here we go. We've got it written down in the script at this point. But yeah, like, you know, we wouldn't be able to do this stuff without all of them. We wouldn't be able to play if it wasn't for you guys. So yeah, thanks to all you guys. Thanks to everyone that watches from home. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
I know you're not saying thank you to us, as in us three. There's no way you're actually thanking us.
Well, like maybe like Mandy and Dev, but like
okay. You know what? I hope you cop an L in your last game. Get out of here. Go shave the rest of that mustache off. You dirty dog, you. I'll tell you what. Lucky we love him.
I reckon after a comment like that, he's losing to Karma Esports next week. Last game for Bliss is against Panic, the absolute rookies. They're going to lose to Karma. I'm calling it.
Imagine Karma just goes and drops like 20 on them. Oh,
I
please.
could see it happening.
Oh,
I could
please.
see it happening.
To be fair, I also picked 6Targets to win tonight. So I really...
To be fair, you had it coming from Wettables then. If you're going against them against 6Targets, like, come on.
Hey, I'm a believer. You know, I don't know how much of a believer I truly am.
You're just hoping for upsets every single game. You pick who you think's going to win, and then you're like, no, actually, I think it's going to be the other team. But hey.
It's OCE, right? That's a good way of doing it.
Well, as Wet said, you know, the teams are 7-0 one week and getting 7-1 the next.
Yeah. There's one thing that I wish for, and it's just that things started to tidy up a little bit here in OCE. I guess maybe that leads from the front. Maybe we need to tidy our act up a little bit, Andy. But obviously, Brendo is having, I said it before when we were off camera, sorry. Brendo's having yet again another live stage.
Yeah, like honestly, I feel like it's pretty safe to say, especially after 2023 and the beginning of 2024. To me, he's like undisputed the best player in the region. I don't know if you would agree with that or you would agree with that, but to me, it's like solid entry fragger, sharp shot, smart player, knows what he's doing, always in the right place at the right time. Like to me, like this is the best player in the region at the moment by far and away.
Yeah. What changed my mind was when I went to this place, South America, just randomly.
Really?
Oh, really?
Is that Brazil?
I think it BRA's. I didn't know
Sao
that's how you said it.
Paulo.
Oh, that's how you say it.
I'm sure I am destroying the word. I apologize to every
I thought
Brazilian
it was
watching.
Sal Pals.
That's hilarious, man.
Thank you very much. I had a lot of pals there, to be honest. And these boys were one of them. What actually changed the whole conversation for me about, you know, where players were and the best players is when I hear Oda, Sage, Fisho, Wettables, like the best players in our region right now all go hands down. There's no question Brendo is the best player on their team. That for me changed the entire conversation. I was like, you know what? I have not been giving enough credit to this young man.
I reckon for Brendo, the most formative experience, I'd love to ask him this because I wonder if he'd have the same response. I think it's got to be Copenhagen because everyone remembers Copenhagen, their first game they got, I believe it was 7-0'd by W7M, who obviously ended up winning the event and are a great team. But Bliss did not play to their expected level a year ago when they played at that event. And Brendo had his worst tournament ever. And I think that was a hugely formative experience for him. Just getting that experience under the belt, figuring out what it's like to get destroyed overseas, and then building up that confidence to go and perform the way he has for the last year since. And yeah, he's just such a phenomenal player. He's right in form, and I can't wait to see what he can do with more time and more ability to show off.
I actually think the most formidable, I think the greatest time that he would ever have had in Siege is under the President alumni. That's a damn short. But on that note, we're going to head to a very short break. On the other side, we continue the OCE League with Panic taking on Kelton's Knights.